911, what's your emergency?
Life. Life is my emergency. Help me. Help
Right.
me. Help me. I'm
Exactly.
poor. Help me, please. Help me.
I felt like it was appropriate.
That was on point. I can't even lie. Black at it again for another not so private conversation. It's
It's
been
been
a
too
while.
long, too long.
Been too long.
LDBs, I want y'all to know, like, y'all think we haven't spoken to y'all in a while. I haven't spoken to Mia. Like,
I have not
it's been like
talked.
texting maybe once a week, calling barely.
Barely. We haven't talked. It's so
The
weird. We are out of our
hurricane.
routine. Life
Yeah.
is just, ugh. We've been
It's
dealing
really
with
taking
life.
over.
We've been dealing with being back to work,
Right.
demanding schedules, helping
Yeah.
families, trying to just, you know,
Housing families.
a few weeks ago we talked about the stress of life.
I
We have
spoke too
been
soon.
we've been dealing with the stress of life for real. Like life as we know it has changed for the foreseeable future.
Life has been having its foot on my neck. I
Mm-hmm.
I felt
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
when we had the stress conversation, it was life being like, "Oh, you think it's bad?"
Like a lot of things that we thought were important just like a month ago. A lot of people that we thought were important, lots of things that we made priorities, like all that stuff has shifted completely. It's
you,
crazy.
I know that in the past like month things have changed with me because Jordan made a comment about something he thought I was going to be mad about, and the fact that I was so cool about it. He said it scared him. He was like, when you didn't react, I was scared. I'm like, I have more things to worry about, sir.
Priorities have totally changed. I think our mindsets have just shifted into another realm of things. Like,
Yeah.
whew, 2020 has been 2020ing,
A shit show.
pure and simple. A lot of our LDBs, our long distance besties, and our families have been affected by Hurricane Laura.
Yeah.
So, you know, that made landfall, what, the end of last month in
Right.
Southwest Louisiana, like Central Louisiana, and even a little part of North Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Laura came through and basically, honestly, ripped our hometown apart.
Yeah.
So all of our family and friends in that region are having to start over, having to relocate, basically having to rebuild, and it's a lot going on.
Definitely. We have family between me and Jordan who's planning on moving permanently because they literally have nothing left out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then to tonight, we've been getting alerts because we have Hurricane Sally now.
Sally,
So
Laura, Sally,
yeah,
Marco, all of
I'm
y'all,
just
like,
over it. I'm over it. It's like
this year just won't quit. It won't quit.
in the midst of all this happening, I've started like a new job and it's just so demanding and it's a lot right now with the hurricane and like housing family in my small 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. It's
Like
just
I hear 21 Savage in my head on repeat a lot,
girl.
a lot. Everything is a lot. We've
A
said
lot.
it in so many conversations that 2020 is really and truly doing the most. It's like this year just is slapping us all around. Like every time you turn around, it's a pimp slap from the year.
You think it
And
can't get
then
any worse? You think
it
it
can't
can't
get any
get any
worse,
worse?
and then it does. And then on top of everything that we've had to like go through this year, the hurricane came through like a kick in the nuts.
Mm-mm.
So since it's been a few weeks since we talked, so let's just talk about it. I was thinking about the course of the year and how it's really just been one thing after another. Every single month, every single week, it's something. And it's been really draining. Like, I'm
Yeah.
tired. When I wake up in the morning, I just be tired.
Girl,
And
it's the
not just
longest
because I
year
was asleep, but
ever.
because it's the longest year ever.
2020
This
has
is
been
just
lasting for 50 years. It's been 50 years this one year, I swear.
it is so draining. It's so confusing. And I feel like I just can't get a good grasp on what's
Yeah.
happening because stuff keeps happening.
Yeah. It's hard to adjust when things keep changing.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's always
bam,
something.
bam,
It's
bam.
always something. So I thought all the way back to January.
When was
January
that?
1st.
49 years ago?
That was forever ago. January 1st. This is going to be kind of somber, but it's honest. January 1st, my former supervisor passed away on New Year's Day due to um, celebratory stray gunfire. On the first day of the year, we used to work at the hospital together, and she just, because people were shooting guns in the air, she got hit with a stray bullet and she just gone.
Jesus.
She died in her own front
Oh,
yard
man.
the first day of the year. Like, that's how my new year started. So then on the 26th of
Do you see my face?
January,
I'm like, oh my God.
that's how the new year started. Then on the 26th, a huge loss for the entire world, man. Kobe Bryant and his daughter
Yes.
and other people aboard passed away in this like
Freak accident.
mind-blowing tragic freak accident of a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
That's crazy. On the 26th of January. And then 4 days later, I had my own um, personal loss with a family member dying to
Yeah.
cancer. And then think about the
Mhm.
end of January, how we were hearing these little rumblings of COVID,
Yes, COVID.
coronavirus.
Yes.
At the time, it wasn't COVID, it was
It's only in China,
coronavirus.
and it was only in China. Remember?
We were hearing things about that. And then in the same month, the president was being impeached. Like, that was in January. The third, was he the third president in history to be
The
impeached?
third. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then in January, China went on lockdown for
Right.
coronavirus. Like, this has been
And
a
then it's
long
been
year.
downhill since then.
It's a downward spiral from there. So then February happens, and I don't even know if March happens.
What happened in March?
We turned 31 in
We turned
March.
31. I don't even remember our birthdays. I don't remember. You know what? I do. So, unlike your first quarter of the year, mine was actually going great. I had lost 10 additional pounds.
Okay.
I had wore a dress that me and other people thought I would never wear. And I went to a party with one of my friends. I went to a Mardi Gras ball. And once again, I wore a backless dress. It was just like my year was going so great. Me and my boyfriend were going out and doing things that we've never done before. We were making plans to travel for the
Yes.
year. We were
Living
making
your
plans
best
with
life.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And because, we all love to go hiking. So we were just
Mm-hmm.
like, we're going to do these things this year. And then I won an award at work and I won a trip to Dallas for the weekend. I
Mm-hmm.
celebrated hard because my birthday was leading into that weekend. And then when I came back that Monday, I guess phase one was a thing at the time. I can't even
Yeah,
remember.
like
It was so
stay
long
at
ago.
home
It was like the stay-at-home
lockdown.
order and my job
Yeah.
got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I will
thought,
say
like, it's
January
like
to
you were
February was
prepared.
good. Yeah, like no,
You were
January and
prepared.
February was good. We got to go to Zulu Ball. We got to have a
Oh
good time in New
yeah.
Orleans. But then when March rolled around,
I know.
after my birthday, like I'm happy that I was able to celebrate my 31st birthday because 2 weeks later, we were put
Right.
on a stay-at-home order. March 11th is when the World Health Organization declared coronavirus a pandemic.
Right.
Like it
It was
had me
like the
thinking
week
about
after my birthday because Jordan took me out to eat. Like I landed, we got home, I got dressed, and then we went eat at some nice restaurant downtown. And then the weekend after that, it was like, oh, what is the world? The whole world shut down.
yeah, March 11th was when it was labeled a pandemic. I remember because South by Southwest was canceled.
Yeah.
And I was at work when they made the announcement. And in my family, we make South by Southwest like an annual thing, and we try to go because I have a cousin who lives in Austin who's well connected. And we were really hurt that it was canceled. And then that's when we really realized, like, oh, this is serious. They're
Yeah.
calling it a pandemic. They're canceling major events. I know they canceled South by, they canceled Coachella, they canceled every big thing that you could think of. And so we still ended up going to Austin and just made it like a family trip. But the week that weekend, like that Sunday I came back, we were officially on stay at home orders because that was our spring break for school, and it was supposed to be a 2 week situation, and here we are 6-7 months later. So like the Summer Olympics were postponed. By April the 2nd, COVID cases had reached 1 million. Yep. 1 million people had been diagnosed with COVID, which is just crazy. And then that's aside from all the political stuff that was happening. So Elizabeth Warren had dropped out of the presidential race. Bernie Sanders had dropped out, which made Joe Biden the official Democratic nominee to run against Trump. And then you start hearing about
who we weren't really personally rooting for. I mean, we weren't.
Anybody but Trump.
With sense. Anybody with sense at the time when Elizabeth Warren, before she dropped out, was not rooting for Joe Biden.
I was definitely on Team Warren, I'll say that. But fires started breaking out all over the world. So like we know that there have been fires in California, but then there were fires in Australia and fires in South America. And then you have locusts in Africa. And then you have like social injustices happening in our country.
Right. And around the world.
And of course, Syria, around the world. Yeah. But like things are just happening everywhere. And it's like, is the world truly ending? I really asked myself that question.
Girl, I asked myself the other day. I was like,
stuff was just happening left and right.
Now that I think about everything.
Yeah, now that you really think about it. And then the game changer, unfortunately, because I mean, like you said, this stuff has been happening for years all over the country. But then George Floyd happened, which we covered already. You know, these protests got really, really, really serious, and then they turned into riots, and you know, stuff
still going on. They're still going on.
Happening. It's still happening. Like you know, the killing of Black people at the hands of police officers. I was reading an article where someone said that this is really just a long overdue reckoning on race, especially in this country. Like so much stuff has just happened, and it's like I said, you can't get a grasp on everything because stuff keeps happening. So I'm probably missing some stuff in just the first half of the year because it's just so much. And then fast forward to a few months ago, Naya Rivera passed away tragically.
Yeah.
John Lewis passed away. C.T. Vivian passed away. Nelson Mandela's daughter, Zinzi Mandela, passed away. Little Richard passed away.
Chadwick Boseman.
No, before we even get to him, Betty Wright passed away.
Oh, yeah, Betty Wright.
Andre Harrell passed away. Pop Smoke passed away. Nick Gordon, so Bobby Christina's former partner, boyfriend, whatever he was, Whitney Houston, that whole situation.
That whole situation is sad when you think about it. It's just like,
Whitney
oh my
Houston
God, it's
died.
like a domino
Then,
effect.
yeah, a few years later, her daughter dies the same way. And then Nick Gordon passes away after he's found guilty and liable for the death of Bobby Christina. Then he passes away of a drug overdose. Like icons and staples like Kenny Rogers passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just like, 2020, what are you doing?
It's like when we thought it couldn't get any worse.
Just when you thought it couldn't get
It's like
any worse.
it can't get any worse than it already is.
And that's not even saying that we're accounting for everything that's happened this year. And then on August the 20th, Hurricane Laura came through this joint with destruction on her mind. She had it on her mind. Mm-hmm. Conservatives and the people at the top who refuse to believe that global warming and climate change is real, like, y'all make me sick.
All those people are in the same category as the flat earthers. They can all stay over there away from me. Like, so, I believe in science. Science is very important to me. Like, I also believe in religion. Religion is very important to me too. But to me, both can coexist. And people who don't believe that or believe in one and the other, they can stay over there in the corner away from me. Don't try to corrupt my mind. The earth is not flat. You've been on a plane before. You can literally look out of a window on a plane and see that the earth is not flat.
How, Sway? How is the world flat?
They have all this data about climate change and global warming, and you don't believe that none of this contributes. You don't believe that if you don't take care of the place that you live, that there's no way that it's going to go through a process of they say it, well, we ain't gonna get into all that. It's too scientific.
but you make a good point. Like, the evidence for rapid climate change is compelling. You cannot ignore this stuff. How can you sit there and deny?
Because they literally ignore it. That's how they can ignore it. They ignore it. They be like, those facts that I've never read or looked into, I've done any research for, aren't true. That's what they believe.
They're facts. Scientists are just witch doctors or whatever. Like, really, people like, but seriously, I don't care what anybody says. Like, when it comes to politics, when it comes to climate change and things that we need in this country specifically, this Green New Deal, we need that ASAP.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because what's
20 years ago.
20 years ago. There is no plan with this current administration. So, like, these really, like, heinous, incompetent elected officials, we got to get them out of office, which is why voting in November is of the utmost importance. I don't care if you don't like Biden and Harris. I don't give a damn. You better vote like you got some sense.
If y'all didn't learn from last time, y'all need to learn that sometimes it's about not really voting what's in your best interest, but it's about voting was in the better interest. And you cannot say it's Cheeto. You just cannot say it's Cheeto Puff. You can't.
If you are still voting for him in 2020 when you've seen what's happened the last 4 years, what do you say to a person like that? Like, there are going to be some people who blindly follow him. Yeah. Because you don't operate in logic and wisdom and just flat out common sense.
We've seen them on our own timelines.
So
same people we went to middle school and high school with.
One of my pastimes during this quarantine has been weeding out friends, and I put that in air quotes, friends on Facebook who just support Trump.
Yeah.
You out the paint. Like, I have deleted all of you. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say. If you support him, you cannot be in my life. Period. point blank.
I don't like the arguments that they make in
They're
defense of being a
nonsensical.
supporter. It's like, exactly.
They don't make no sense.
It makes no sense
I can
at
poke
all.
holes in all of your BS.
We've
Like,
seen multiple people whose BS have had holes poked into them, and it doesn't change. It's just like a flat earther. And that's the thing. They're in the same category as a flat earther.
exactly. It's like I said, the people who were defending Tory Lanez, if you just say you don't like black women and keep it pushing, I can just weed you out that way. For the same people who support Trump, just say you don't like black people.
Right.
And keep it
It's
moving.
and not just black people, just anyone non-white.
Just say that you don't have any compassion in your heart, and I can weed you
Right.
out that way. But all of that, the politics, the hurricanes, all of this, to come down to Chadwick Boseman passing away on August the 28th. It, to me, and you could say that I'm being dramatic, but all of this just kind of just stopped when he
Girl, I
passed
was about to
away.
say, like, that was like the icing on the cake for this year.
Oh, the cherry on top.
Oh
Chadwick
my
Boseman
God.
passed away after a 4-year battle with colon cancer. I just get stuck right there,
And that's
because
the worst part about it.
he was a fine actor. He was an amazing advocate for black people and for our stories. And he was really, he was Black Panther, but he was a hero just
Right.
as a man, as a black man. And 43 years old, that's still young.
I
And
just
he was just
want
gone.
everyone to know, all the LDBs to know, that me and Mia, we have been knowing Chadwick Boseman we have been keeping up with him for
Before he was a
so
household name.
long. Like Jackie Robinson was not the Chadwick that we knew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Chadwick we knew was from a show
Lincoln
that
Heights.
we loved called Lincoln Heights. And at the
Man.
time, he had to be like in his 20s
Mm-hmm.
at that time, because we were pretty young watching Lincoln Heights on ABC.
Mm-hmm. It was on like what was it, ABC Family?
Or either one of those channels that it kept transitioning to before it
Mm-hmm.
became ABC Family. You know, they went through all that. But
Yeah.
it's like we have followed and seen his career progress for so long. We have seen where he started. We have seen like where he's gone to, and it was just so sad to learn that, you know, he died, and not only, you know, did he pass away, but it was because of a disease that he had been battling for years that no one but his close personal
Inner
family
circle. Mm-hmm.
knew about. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he kept pushing and he had drive and he kept putting out movie after movie after movie that meant something to black people is just so admirable. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
every time I look at the stories about Chadwick Boseman, I have to pass him up because I get a
Mm-hmm.
little emotional.
Same.
So I haven't really I know his accomplishments off of what I followed over the years, but everything that people have been listening with their stories, I just haven't been able to read. Like Michael B. Jordan's posts, I haven't been able to read. Lupita,
Mm-hmm. I really truly felt like, and this doesn't happen a lot for me whenever like celebrities
it's
pass
usually
away.
like, oh, that's so sad, I feel sorry for their family, and then I'm
Right.
just like, I know them.
No, I really felt a sense of grief
Yeah.
with the loss of Chadwick Boseman, because I just can't wrap my mind around it.
Did you text me? Was it you that text in the group chat?
I think so.
And then I was like, you lie, and I went Google it, and then I don't think I text back after that because I was just in shock.
My cousin texted me and he was like, bro, I cannot believe this. And I was like, what? And he sent me the article, and I sent y'all the article. And then, of course, the first thing you do, basically, if you have like an Instagram account or a Twitter account, you go on social media to see, because honestly, that's the quickest news source
Right.
that we have right now. And so when I saw it, I was just like speechless. I couldn't believe that he had passed away, and he was 43, and it
Right.
was colon cancer. And not only that it was colon cancer, but that he was dealing with colon cancer for 4 years. And it made me think back to when Black Panther was released. You mean to tell me that he had already been dealing with this
Dealing
and
with,
nobody
yep.
knew? Like, Ryan Coogler even said that he didn't know. The people who were in these movies with him did not know that
Yeah.
he was battling colon cancer. And colon cancer hits home for me personally. So like I was a mess.
Right.
Like, how? Why? He was so young. What was the like? So many questions just pop up in your head. And I was telling my cousin the other day, I was like, I'm grieving the death of Chadwick Boseman like he was someone that I knew, like he
Right.
was a cousin that I looked
Yeah,
up
like a
to.
family
Because
member.
because like I said, he was just a fine human being. And I could only get through maybe like one, uh I think it was like an ABC special on him, because he was Black Panther and so forth, and he played all these historical figures. I could get through one of those. I can't do the tributes. I can't do the posts, the Instagram posts and whatnot, because that's just how I am. When somebody who I really admire and look up to,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're family or not, whether you're a celebrity or not, a stranger or not, I can't consume a bunch of stuff about you,
Right.
because it just puts me in a space, and I don't like being in that space. And so when I saw it, I was like, not one single person had a ill word to say about this
Right.
dude, because he was a stand-up guy. Even like people coming out of the woodwork from Howard University, they're saying amazing things about him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, because that's who he was. He was just a good dude. And Hollywood was lucky enough that he wanted to be a part of Hollywood. And he
How
went on
how
to
we feel
play.
about him, a lot of people felt that way when Kobe Bryant passed away.
Oh, definitely.
I just
And
think that
I'll be
we
the
weren't
first to say that I
right.
wasn't a huge Kobe Bryant fan, but I understood the
That's what I
magnitude
was
of the
gonna say.
loss.
I don't think
Yeah.
we were as affected by that loss as we were by this one, because we
Two
didn't follow
two
him and relate.
giants. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, three giants in a year. When I really think about 2020, I think about John Lewis. He
John
is
Lewis.
no longer here. Kobe Bryant is no longer here. Chadwick Boseman is no longer here. And it's
When
like,
did Aretha Franklin pass away? Was that
I
this
think
year
she
too?
passed last year. I think she
The
passed
end of
last year.
last year?
Like, this is what reality is going to be. And so like, this is not going to stop. So like, people that we love and hold dear, celebrities that we admire and put on these pedestals, this is going to continue to happen. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, this is just
Keep
so
living.
surreal.
That's what the
Yeah.
old people tell us.
Yeah,
Just keep
just keep
living.
living. It's just, it's rough. And then I think about where we are now, because that was just a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in September, and we're still dealing with COVID-19, and we're trying to learn how to live with it instead of doing what we need to do to eradicate it.
Oh my God. I
Just
just
completely
can't. When
backwards.
when
Completely
I
backwards.
see the news on COVID, I'm just so disgusted and disappointed with we've never had faith in the government, like talking about, but it's for them not to only do Black people like this, but the whole world like this is
The
like,
world,
it's like the
Craig.
world,
So
Greg. It's like, oh, y'all get a little taste of the kind of things we've been dealing with for generations, like generations. And
Other countries are really progressing in their efforts to stop the spread. Like there are some countries that no longer have daily death rates, but not us.
Right.
We can't get
Well, some of
right.
those countries who completely like who had zero cases, now they have like a couple like coming up. But I think those same countries who did what they had to do to stop it at the beginning, they're gonna do what they have to do now. I think it's
Mhm.
our country that's just so focused on money
We are so
and the
backwards.
economy is just like, shit, we about to be in phase. Are we in phase 3? I don't even know what we at now. Like, I don't know. People been moving in Baton Rouge like nothing's been happening for the last month. So it's it's kind of strange when other people are like, oh yeah, well, we're starting to open up a little more. Like, it's like, bitch, we've been open. So on Labor Day, I was supposed to go to a get together, a small get together. I was
Mm-hmm.
I was promised that it was less than 10 people. Girl, I showed up. That was like 1,000 people, like a
Oh
thousand. Oh my
no.
god, it looked like Freak Nick. So it was so many people around the pool. I go hang out. I hang out with one person from work. His name is Vinny. We the same age, and we both hate people. So we were there, and I looked at him and I said, "An hour." Then we got by the pool and we were like off at the side at first. And when we moved closer, I looked at him. I said, 20 minutes. 10 minutes later, he was like, you ready to go? I was like, yes. When we were leaving, the cops had came to shut it down. And then that's not the end. You would think that's it, right?
What?
I get to work. Oh wait, no, I didn't have to work. I get a message from work. One of the people there contracted COVID-19. And now I can't go to work, even though I was nowhere close to this girl. Like, they were clowning me because I was the only person with a mask on at the pool.
You did
Because
right.
when we walked out there and I saw those people, I put my mask on and I stayed off the side where what's those little swinging things you lay in? You can hook them on
Hammocks.
trees, a hammock.
Hammocks.
So I laid in the hammock, and it was like no one was in the hammock. Everyone was in the pool and like on the made up rocks and stuff. And yeah, like two of the girls I work with got COVID-19, but it's far more people who has it than those two. But because those two had it, and they said that I was with them, which I was not, I have to miss work for 2 weeks in self quarantine. But I got
Jeez.
2 jobs, so it don't really matter.
Flex. Little
It don't
flex
really
right
matter.
there.
But it's just
Okay.
like, people keep having these big gatherings and showing up because that says a lot. Like, I was the only one with a mask on, and the person I went there with looked at me and said, I am so proud of you. You're the only one with a mask on. And she did not have a mask on. So it was like more people are worried about how they look in front of people than they are about being safe for themselves and for other people. Like, they just don't care. These young people don't care.
You're
These
not in
white
the young
people
people
don't
category
care.
anymore.
I know, right?
I
I
mean,
ain't young, I ain't white.
but but yeah, I say, the United States collectively got tired of COVID and decided that COVID was over.
It's over.
COVID has not gone anywhere, but our entitled, privileged, stupid little country just
Right.
want it to be over, so it's over.
And I
But
was so
yet still,
pissed
people are
because
suffering.
that is the first time I have gone anywhere since phase 1 in March.
I
I
saw a
have not
tweet.
gone anywhere. And then the
Yeah.
first time I go somewhere, I'm like, oh, people really acting like it's January, February.
No, I saw a tweet that said, like, this one person that I follow said that they were like, I feel like I'm the only dumbass that's still quarantining. And I was like, but see, that's the problem with what's happening right now. We should still be in quarantine. But again, like we said with climate change, the people at the top reject
Right.
wisdom and knowledge and logic because
Facts.
they are literally projecting that COVID is not going to be anywhere close to being done until sometime later next year. And people are just out here trying to live their best lives. And it's like, why are y'all trying to live with COVID when 200,000 people almost have
Because
been
apparently that's
claimed
not
by
enough
this?
people to take it seriously. That's just a
It's
small
crazy. It's crazy.
little nugget group.
It's
They
just
don't really matter.
it's crazy. Like,
Little
first of
drop in the
all,
bucket number.
vote like your life truly depends on it. There are still 3 months left of this God forsaken year.
So do you really believe, because when you look at what's going on, you see that most of the people who think that COVID isn't real are Trump supporters. So
Mm-hmm.
do you honestly think there's a chance? Because it seems like it does. He admitted that he downplayed COVID.
Girl. All right. So, woosah. I've been praying for relief for all of us. Um, I don't believe that. So there are 3 months left, okay? So I don't believe that when January 1st, 2021 rolls around, that
Mhm.
it's just going to miraculously present
Mm-mm.
a new dawn and a new day, and we're going to be done with 2020. That would be great. But I really feel like 2021 is going to come in with the same energy because every
Yeah.
month of this year we have said, okay, April, come in, sit down, don't touch nothing, like act like you got some sense. Okay, September, act like you got some sense.
Literally nothing has gotten better.
Nothing. And I
Nothing.
really feel like 2021 is about to be on this same energy. But a lot of stuff rides on this election. A
That's
lot of
true.
stuff depends on how the day to day is going to unfold. My question is, are we going to use the lessons that we should have learned from 2020? Are we going to use these lessons into 2021? Like, are we going to do better in 2021?
It doesn't seem like it.
Now that you see what's up, are you gonna do what you need to do to prepare? Like you said, this fool admitted to the fact that he knew it was bad.
Bruh, I swear people was like, meh, what? No
He
biggie. No
knew
biggie.
it was bad, and he
No
got it
biggie.
on tape that he said that he purposely tried to downplay COVID-19, coronavirus, the whole pandemic, so that he wouldn't create a
Had a
panic.
panic. Yeah.
What? And
So
now
let's just let a whole bunch of people get sick and die instead of creating.
almost 200,000 people are dead, man. People that I know personally are dead because you didn't want to create a panic.
This is gonna sound so harsh, but I feel like he looks at it like a business venture. Like, oh well, that's 200,000 people less that I have to worry about.
We
Like that
we still got another
you
X
know?
million of people still
Right.
alive. So, because he's a terrible businessman. If you
Oh
really
my
look
God,
at
the
what he's
worst.
done with
The
his
worst.
businesses, look at how many times he's had to go
I
bankrupt.
don't
And a lot of people will
understand why
say
these people.
sometimes, you got to do that to stay in business. But no,
Girl, go somewhere with all that.
don't try to explain his BS because that's all it is. Like, if you see what's up in this country, what are you going to do to prepare now? Because
I'm
I
going to
feel
be
like
an alcoholic.
2021 is giving us new energy. It's giving us I don't give a F energy. So what are you going to do with that?
I honestly think my first step is just accepting that these things are just they're not going to get any better anytime soon. So I need to navigate in a way that has my best interest and
Mm-hmm.
like maintains my focus. I just I feel like lately I've just been kind of all over the place, like trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
things out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've been all over the place because I think, oh well, things are going to get back to normal soon, so it's just temporary. But I need to just accept that like life is going to be different now. And even though I didn't have a handle on life before it changed, like I need to start changing with it because nothing is the same at this point.
Right. Right.
And it's so many things. It's not just like the state of the world when it comes to race and climate change and politics. It's also like education is also changing. Like Google's offering 2-year certificates that's equivalent to a 4-year degree. It's just like all these different things that's changing. We're in our 30s. I don't want to be left behind. But all this is happening in a year where everything has just gone to shits and we don't know how to handle this. So I just, it one day at a time.
Yep.
But I just need to accept that this is the new normal. And well, I just need to accept that there's no such thing as normal,
There's no such
honestly.
thing as normal. So the thing about being a human is that you have the ability to adapt
Right.
to any situation that you find yourself in. The problem is when we get stuck in our ways and we choose not to adapt. But the fact that you have a choice, that never changes. You always have a choice, and it would do you some good if you just chose to adapt, because ain't no normal. We ain't going
Mm-hmm.
back to how things used to be.
What was that? What was that?
It's just not happening. So we have to continue to evolve because the times are evolving, and it seems crazy, it sounds crazy, it looks crazy. Spoiler, it is crazy. Like, life is crazy, but you just gotta, you gotta keep going. Like you said, you don't want to get left behind. You don't want to be, you know, 2 generations ago trying to figure out what to do
Right.
with technology, what to do with
Right.
patient and all these different things. Like, you got to stay with it because that's what life is doing right now. It's my word for the year. When I started the year, I just had such high hopes for 2020 before it
Didn't
shit it
we
all on
all?
them.
We thought 2019 was bad.
Woo, child, and it was.
Lies,
Don't get me
lies,
wrong,
fairy
it
tales and
was.
fallacies.
But my word for 2020 was abundance. I was gonna find a way to just live in abundance all of 2020. And September has shown me that I need to change my word. I'm gonna keep my word abundance because I'm gonna try to still live through it. But my word from here on out, probably for the rest of my life, is gonna be prepare, preparation, and just, you got to be ready. That's the word now. What are you going to do so that life is not always pimp slapping you across the face? So life is not always kicking you in the
But
nuts.
that's the thing. I don't think I can ever be prepared. So I feel like my word would have to be like adaptation because
That,
I just
but
have
that's,
to.
it's kind of one and the same to me, because
You're
I
right.
I always have to keep my mindset of, I need to keep preparing, always thinking one step ahead of
Up
life so
ahead.
that life don't
Okay.
get that one up on me.
Mm-hmm.
Because, disasters, tragedies, unfortunate situations, those things are always wake up calls, but I still need to have something in place so that I'm not just completely taken off
Yeah,
guard.
you're absolutely right.
My mom reminded me this past Sunday, we were doing a Bible study. She reminded me of this saying that my great grandmother, my dad's grandma, used to say: prepare for war in a time of peace. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that was her generation's version of stay ready so you ain't
Mm-hmm.
got
You
to
don't have
get
to get
ready.
ready. Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Nemo knew.
she knew what was up. And that is so true. You got to stay ready so you ain't got to
Yeah.
get ready so you don't have to get caught sleeping.
Yeah. So although 2020, I have to admit, has been the hardest year of my life because one of the things that I always say is I never thought the things that we've seen this year I would ever live through. Like most of the things I figured has passed and generations past have gone through it so we wouldn't have to. In other situations, I felt like we'll be long gone, like how bad climate change has become. I figured we would be long gone by the time we started seeing real effects of that. But although it's been like a lot of bad, I've learned a lot. I've been able to also learn a lot about myself. I haven't been handling it the best,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been doing what I can, and I've also been taking the positive out of it. Like I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
small changes, like small things don't set me off as fast as they used to. I had like a very stressful job before my current one for 3 years, and it was like a lot of deadlines and a lot of timelines. And one of the things that changed about me is I was just lacking patience. Like patience was just not a thing for me. Like if I needed it done, I needed it done, I needed it done now. And well, because all this is just kind of like what's one of the best things that you can learn but patience in a situation
Oh
like
yeah.
this.
I always
So
thought that I had a very good amount of patience, but it's I always say like when you pray for patience or when you ask for patience and you think you're good on it,
that means you're
life shows
not.
you that yeah, life shows you that you don't have as much as you thought you had and you don't have a wrangle on it the way that you thought you did. So
Mhm.
I have if COVID and all of the craziness of the year hasn't taught me anything, it's definitely taught me patience. And I know for a fact that I have a ways to go when it comes to patience.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things that now I realize that patience is a lifelong journey. Just like a lot of the different virtues that
Mhm.
we are supposed to have, it's a lifelong journey, and you just have to keep getting better and better and better at it. It's no destination. You just
Patience like
living it
ties
out.
into control and being able to let go of things that you can't. And this year is like the perfect example of like
Ooh.
letting go of things that you
Mm-hmm.
literally can't control. There's so much
Mm-hmm.
around us that we can't control. Like my therapist told me, one of the things that she noticed about me is that I feel guilty about so much, about so many things that I can't control. And that's like this year has really taught me like you cannot feel guilty about every little thing that's going on around the world. You cannot feel guilty about kids like going hungry. You cannot feel guilty. Like it's like little things that just
World
affects me.
tragedies.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why that's a lot of one of the reasons why I don't watch the news, and especially the world news, is because like it affects me on such a deeper level to
Mm-hmm.
where I start feeling like I'm the one who's actually contributing to that situation.
This year has been a control freak's
Right.
nightmare.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so
yes.
I finally stopped saying that I'm a control freak, and I finally started saying like I'm a recovering control freak, because I understand
We have
that
to be at this
there's
point.
so many things that's just outside of my control. And that's how it's gonna be. I
Mm-hmm.
can only control what I can control, and I need to constantly be taking inventory of the things that I can control, because that list is actually very small. The things that I
Yeah.
actually control only have to do with
With
me.
yes. Yes.
So that takes a lot of stuff off of my plate. It takes a lot of things
Right.
off of my to-do list. So this year has been about like really just simplifying things
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
focusing in on what I can control, which is not a lot. It ain't a lot that I can really control. So I just kind of have to let life do what it do. And I got to be ready to be proactive and still take care of what needs to be done
Yeah.
when it comes to the crazy stuff of
Mm-hmm.
this year. So, a segment that we're going to bring back is wise words.
Wise
So,
words. Mm-hmm.
my wise words is tied to that. Like I said, we all have to focus in. We know that 2020 on that bullshit. We know. You might as well go ahead and just like anticipate 2021 to be on that bullshit. So get your personal priorities straight. Love the people in your life. Don't hold grudges. Like, no games being played. If you have an issue with somebody, you have a concern about something, something is not right to you, something ain't sitting right in your spirit, speak your mind. Like, it's time out for all the BS. Like, it's just a bunch of like random quotes. That's my wise words for this week. But like, for real, like, cliches are cliches for a reason. Don't hold grudges. Like, this is all you have. And it's true. You only have right now. This is your one and only shot. You don't get to do this again. So get it right the first time. Like, if you gotta apologize, apologize. If you gotta let some stuff go, let it go. Move forward, because this is all you have right now. And 2020 has shown us that it can be all just gone in the blink of an eye, with the snap of a finger. So you gotta basically boss up on your own life, be good to people. You gotta make sure you are paying attention. Because is it gonna really get better?
What's better?
Is it gonna get better? What did I say earlier? The better part of me believes that no, it's not gonna get better. The only thing that's gonna make things better is how we respond to stuff. Like, facts, if you don't learn, if you don't learn from this year, then you have done yourself and the people around you a disservice. Like, everything is not other people's fault either. Like, even when it comes down to taking constructive criticism, like, you use that as your fuel to do better. Somebody hurt my feelings.
You know, one of the things I always focus on is like, accept the gift of criticism. Like, to me, it's a gift. It's only allowing you to do better and be better. So what's the harm in that? Especially if it's from someone who's at a level that you're aspiring to be at. Like, why are you doing what you're doing unless you wanted criticism so you can get better in advance? Sometimes you need to learn from the past. Like, you can't just keep repeating the same thing over and over again.
That's
I feel
insanity.
Like that's the state of the world right now. We just keep repeating the same behaviors over and over again. That's what got us to where we are. But I like that your wise words was about prioritizing, which is crazy because like, when I tell you Mind Tap, because I literally wrote down this morning an Oprah Winfrey quote. Are you ready for this? From the Queen, Oprah.
You know, I stay ready.
Girl, breathe, let go, and remind yourself that this very moment is the only one you know you have for sure.
That's it.
Girl, I wrote this in my notes this morning.
That's all you got. Even so, I am what's the word? I'm a Broadway nerd. So this will harken back to Rent. If you know anything about Rent, shout out to you. I know one or maybe two people feel me. My brother and my good friend. I know y'all feel me when I say there is no day but today. This is the only day that you can account for. That goes right back into
525,600 minutes.
You got all this time. You don't have nothing but this moment right here. This is all you got. And you are blessed if you see a moment past this. That's just the reality of the situation. Like, we can joke and laugh and, you know, say whatever we want to say, but this is all we have right now. Anything past this is a blessing. So you better treat it as such before it gets snatched
away from
you, because 2020 has shown us that this is all we got.
Snatched like some glued down edges.
Snatched like some artificial edges.
But I would love for LDBs to let us know what they've learned from this year. You know, what their
Yeah.
takeaway is. We have 3 months left in this year. It's been a long 50 years, LDBs, that we've been through. Let
I'm
us
aged
know
like 10
what.
times.
Hello, I'm aging like a white woman over here. Like, for real, it's been rough on my skin.
Girl, it's hard out here.
But y'all, like,
It's
let us
hard.
know, like, what's your takeaways? What you
Mm-hmm.
learned? What's the silver linings? Like, what's your stresses? Like, how
Mm-hmm.
have you been dealing with those stresses and navigating day by day? Like, let us know. We need tips just as much as
Seriously,
y'all.
we got a podcast, but share the wealth of knowledge that you have because it is real out here. We all just trying to help each other.
So for real, make sure y'all send that to us, and thank y'all again for joining us this week. And we'll talk to y'all next week for another not so private conversation. Bye.
Another not so private conversation.
Thank you so much, long distance besties, for joining us again for another not so private conversation. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Jeanne V. Williams. That's at Jeanne, Jeanne V. Williams, and at Perfectly Mia. That's at Perfectly MIA. And if you have any topic suggestions or any questions, shoot us an email at notsoprivatepod@gmail.com.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it. Remember to leave a review on Spotify, Apple, and Google. You can also find us at Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Overcast, and Breaker. And you can find us on anchor.fm/ not so private pod. Now you can also hear us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Not So Private Podcast channel. Now, with all of that being said, join us next time for another not so private conversation.